fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you along.
Terence Crawford has finally addressed the tension with Floyd Mayweather, explaining that Floyd's strange and disrespectful behavior toward him started not long before Crawford's victory over Canelo, and that these actions, which have recently become more public, stem from issues that began quietly behind the scenes and later pushed the boxing legend to repeatedly take shots at him.
Using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But, like, his core personality and his...
Crawford said that Floyd usually contacted him before his fights to show support, but this time he never reached out, and people close to Floyd told him that Floyd didn't like the matchup and didn't want him to win, which he initially ignored until he later saw Floyd's reaction when asked about the fight and realized that something clearly wasn't right.
Hey Floyd, what do you think about the fight, Crawford Madrigal? He says it's gonna be a good fight. You think the winner should get Canelo?
Sir. This ain't about them right now.
Crawford also said that Floyd was the person who let it be known that he was dealing with injuries during training camp, explaining that this information didn't come from his team and made it clear to him that Floyd was behind the leak.
So you didn't go into that fight 100%, you think? I ain't asked for no details.
No, not at all. No. I don't know when did I ever win in a fight. You know what I mean?
Crawford said Floyd was also the one who made his injuries public, something he would never have admitted before the fight. And after stepping into the ring, doing his job, and becoming champion, he was confused why Floyd placed a bet on him yet never reached out or showed support, adding that he stayed quiet and ignored the situation until Floyd started calling him out and pushing the idea of a fight to decide who the real GOAT is, which left Crawford questioning the source of the jealousy, since he says he has always treated Floyd as a friend and supported him as a fan.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And
Crawford questioned why Floyd would call him out at all, then revealed that he wasn't completely healthy going into the Canelo Alvarez fight, which only made the victory look even more impressive, as he defeated Canelo by unanimous decision to become undisputed at 168 and make history as the first male fighter to be undisputed in 3 weight classes at 140, 147, and 154, while noting that before the fight there were rumors coming from Floyd claiming he had a shoulder injury that was acting up. In camp, speculation Crawford directly addressed by making it clear he was not suffering the way people were suggesting.
Elbows is hurting, my hands, my wrists, my neck, things like that. You gotta listen to your body and just say, all right, decompress. I'ma just chill out and let my body just do what it do.
I know you had a great camp, but brother, you finna be 38 soon, like in a...
Reports from someone close to the situation claimed that the shoulder Crawford previously had surgery on was acting up again during training camp, saying it had been an ongoing problem for roughly 8 to 10 weeks and that the team was keeping a close watch on it.
If I take Floyd Mayweather in his absolute prime, and I take Manny Pacquiao in his absolute prime,
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd still beats him.
Floyd beat everybody.
You don't believe there's a guy at 140, 147 in the history of boxing that could have beat Floyd in his prime?
It'd be tough. Floyd, man, that boy, man, that's the GOAT, man. That boy bad.
What makes it, because, and I told people, I said, look at Floyd. I said, Floyd, it's not that he trains, it's his life. And from the very beginning, he said, I want to be the best.
When I fought Canelo, I was 36 and Canelo was 23, around the same age. Some of these guys won world titles and was undisputed champion. I think, the Tank age, the young little champions. Mm-hmm. Canelo was 23 with 43 fights and 30 knockouts.
Crawford said he had no idea where the shoulder injury talk even came from and felt people were just creating their own stories, claiming he was injured, out of shape, or slowing down, adding that all kinds of rumors were being pushed. But in reality, he would never admit to dealing with any issue before the fight because doing so would have only given Canelo's camp extra confidence and an advantage.
There's rumours that you've got a shoulder injury. Do you have a shoulder injury, or is that just rubbish?
Where I got a shoulder, I don't know. I think people coming up with their own, antics. Terence Crawford got a shoulder injury. Terence Crawford out of shape. Terence Crawford slow. Terence Crawford. Yeah, they coming up with.
Crawford admitted to Andre Ward that he wasn't at 100% going into the fight, explaining that he had a lot happening in camp, including dealing with injuries, and emphasized that no fighter ever comes out of camp completely healthy, noting that people kept asking how he felt, and he stressed again that he had been managing multiple injuries not just for this fight, but in the previous ones as well.
A couple days, right? How was that last camp you just had?
It was great.
I know it was great. Well, did you feel different at 37?
A little bit, yeah.
You had no bumps and bruises?
Man, we always got bumps and bruises.
I'm saying bumps and bruises at 37.
Man, I had bumps and bruises at 27. You know what I mean?
The fact that Crawford wasn't at 100% makes his win even more remarkable, considering he not only moved up 2 weight classes to face the undisputed champion, but also had to fight with a shoulder injury, which can reduce punching power, affect stamina, and weaken defense. Despite this, Crawford executed a near-perfect performance, neutralizing Canelo's body attacks, landing punches consistently, and keeping his shoulder issues hidden, showing exceptional skill, strategy, and mental toughness.
Are you feeling a difference in power now you've moved up and you're at your natural weight?
Of course. Power is definitely going to come with it, so that's not any worries that I ever had.
Terence, what excites you the most about this challenge on Saturday night?
Shutting everybody up.
And what does this feel like to you, Terence? We normally don't come in an arena and see you booed the way that you were today. How excited are you to shut everybody up?
Hey, man, it happened.
Crawford's performance also shuts down critics who might try to diminish the win by claiming Canelo was past his prime or just had an off night, especially after Canelo announced he would need shoulder surgery following the loss, highlighting that both fighters were dealing with injuries, yet Crawford still managed to dominate. Canelo's announcement that he will need elbow surgery has sparked renewed debate over whether the injury played a key role in his loss or if it's just being used as an excuse, with many viewing the defeat as one of the toughest in his career, given both his stage in boxing and the high stakes of the fight.
If you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Recent reports say Canelo Alvarez will have surgery to fix an elbow injury, sidelining him for 5 to 6 months and putting his fight schedule on hold, including at least 2 more bouts under his Riyadh season contract. The Mexican star has faced injuries before, having wrist surgery after his trilogy with Gennady Golovkin, and returned in 2023 to continue defending his status as one of boxing's top icons.
How did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the...
Terence Crawford's win was decisive, as he controlled most of the fight at Allegiant Stadium and cemented his place among the top pound-for-pound fighters. Still, news of Canelo's surgery led some fans to question the result, suggesting his lower punch output might have been due to elbow pain, with comments like, "That explains why he wasn't throwing much." Others, however, argued that Crawford's victory was clear and that using the injury as an excuse only takes away from his dominant performance.
When you look at these fights, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, say, all right, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he can fight his ass off. But me personally, I believe in
Crawford against Mayweather, right? How do you think a fight between both of them turn out?
If Mayweather gets hit with Crawford like I hit him and rocked, it might not end well for Mayweather. They might be over it. But Mayweather could outbox Crawford, I think, because Crawford has the mindset that I'm trying to knock you out. And Mayweather knows how to play to that I'm trying to knock you out type of thing. Because he's used to people coming at him trying to hit him hard all the time.
The main question now is how Canelo will come back after surgery, with some suggesting he take a tune-up fight before facing another elite opponent, while others wonder if, after so many years at the top, it might be time to consider retirement. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford is at the peak of his career. His win over Alvarez not only cemented his status as a top fighter, but also sparked discussions about just how far his legacy can reach.
I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
Crawford took a huge risk moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo for his undisputed super middleweight titles, and with the fight broadcast on Netflix to millions of fans, a knockout loss could have seriously damaged his reputation and legacy. Instead, he pulled off a stunning upset, winning by unanimous decision and becoming the first male boxer to claim undisputed championships in 3 separate weight classes.
When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands.
With this victory, Crawford has solidified his place as one of the greatest boxers of his generation and arguably among the best fighters of all time. At 38 and at the peak of his career, there is much debate about whether he will fight again or retire. Both choices have merit. He has nothing more to prove in the sport, and returning could put his flawless legacy at risk, yet walking away now would also mean leaving a significant amount of money on the table, particularly if a rematch with Canelo were to happen.
His speed, his power, his punch placement, his IQ, the way that he went about boxing. He's a hooper. I like to play basketball. He fished. I like to fish.
No one knows what Crawford will do next, and he admitted he isn't sure himself during a September 30th episode of the All the Smoke Fight podcast with Andre Ward. When asked about his future, Crawford said, "I'm chilling, man. To be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do. Everything is up in the air right now. I'm just enjoying my family and being able to say, look what I accomplished."
Attention, a little bit of online beef. We saw Roy Jones here, you know, him and Floyd Mayweather getting after it. Just what are your thoughts? I know you watched it because I could see the smile on your face.
That's 2 uncles, man, going at it, man. I don't know what to say. I'm, you know, I don't even know how to feel about it. I mean, I do know this. They're fighters, and you know, entertainers and fighters. They're sensitive about their work.
Crawford said he's just relaxing for now and hasn't even had a chance to sit down with his team to discuss the future. He spoke with his family and understands their wishes, but emphasized that decisions are a team effort. He added, "You've got to have strong will because a lot of things are going to be thrown at you, but it's up to you to know what's right and what's wrong." While Mayweather has long been the gold standard in boxing, Crawford has steadily been making his mark. In August 2024, he won a world title in a 4th weight division, outpointing Israel Madimov over 12 rounds at __ Stadium in Los Angeles to claim the WBA junior middleweight crown, continuing his trend of capturing world titles immediately after moving up in weight.
A lot of the stuff that Canelo was doing, and you know, that I would say this, that work from Boots helped in that aspect because Canelo was reacting to a lot of the counters that Crawford was throwing. Usually in the past, you know, Canelo would stand right there. He would lunge and he would stay in place, keep his feet in place. However,
at 140 pounds, Crawford knocked out Thomas Darm in his first fight for the WBO belt, setting the stage for his eventual reign as undisputed champion. His move into welterweight followed a similar pattern, with a decisive win over then WBO champion Jeff Horn that ended in Horn's defeat. In July 2023, Crawford reached a career high, dominating Errol Spence Jr. to become the undisputed welterweight champion. After his victory over Madrimov, he made it clear that his quest for history wasn't over, setting his sights on a bold challenge, moving up 2 weight classes to face the undisputed super middleweight champion.
It's wild, because like if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight.
Crawford wasn't chasing just a belt or 2, but the full crown, with Saul Canelo Alvarez, the sport's undisputed star and holder of all 4 major titles, standing in his way. Alvarez dismissed Crawford's challenge, claiming his record didn't compare, but Crawford stayed focused, believing that true greatness is measured not in accolades or titles, but in skill and performance inside the ring.
A lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in a fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I
Floyd
love you, Terrence.
always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess man.
Alvarez, like the 41 fighters before him, fell short against Crawford's dominance. The fight didn't end in a knockout, but Crawford controlled nearly every aspect of the bout, clearly dictating the action. Unlike Mayweather, Crawford has never shied away from the toughest challenges. Mayweather's greatness is unquestioned. He won world titles in 5 weight classes and built immense wealth along the way, often reminding audiences of his achievements, even during his fighters' press conferences. Early in his career, Mayweather fought from 126 to 140 pounds, knocking out most of his opponents.
I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with every...
And the world said he was inexperienced. I was 36 with 40-something fights. And to tell you the truth, I was over the hill. And so when I fight guys, when I'm in my 30s and they're in their 30s, you know what they say? Oh, this guy all washed up.
After his split decision win over Oscar de la Hoya in May 2007 for the WBC junior middleweight title, a fight that shifted boxing's financial focus, Mayweather's image transformed from pretty boy to money. His skills remained intact, but his approach became more calculated and risk-averse, often choosing easier paths and frustrating fans who wanted him to face tougher opponents. While Crawford stands alone as the only male fighter to become undisputed in 3 weight classes during the 4-belt era, Mayweather never achieved undisputed status, a choice that reflected his priorities rather than an oversight.
You know, how did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, you know, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, you know, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. You know, one where he felt like he was at the best.
Was ready for the body shots. You know, occasionally the straight right hand to the body would land for Canelo. But, you know, sooner or later, Crawford started getting out of the way of that as well by just pivoting, you know, on the angle and, you know, making Canelo reach. There were spots inside the ring that I saw Crawford, you know.
Crawford left Top Rank in 2021 to take full control of his career, but his motivations were very different from Mayweather's. While Mayweather's choices were largely driven by money, Crawford was frustrated with the quality of opponents he was offered, focusing on legacy rather than finances. Though pay remained a consideration, it was never his main priority. By 33, Mayweather had become more of a businessman than a fighter, while at 37, Crawford continued to pursue high-risk, legacy-defining fights, challenges that Mayweather at that age would likely have avoided. His caution made sense. Few willingly put themselves in harm's way.
You know, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, you know, I don't know. You know, I don't go off of that. You know, Floyd is the best fighter, you know, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
Crawford accepted the risk and didn't just win, he did it clean, without the usual conditions that often follow big fights, as there were no weight limits or rehydration clauses, and the bout took place at the full super middleweight limit. He later recalled telling Bernard Hopkins on Andre Ward's The Art of Ward podcast that he was confident from the start, saying they were going to fight and that he was going to beat Canelo, and that everyone would see it happen.
In a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me?
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd?
I don't know. I thought you'd hesitate maybe even a bit, but no.
Nah, not at all. You know, that's one of my favorite fighters.
I saw you before the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. GOAT. Greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
For Crawford, it was never about money. The real measure was proving inside the ring who the superior fighter truly is. From the very start of his career, this principle has guided him, consistently showing who deserves to be called the best. Few thought Mayweather's dominance could ever be challenged, yet Crawford has done exactly that. What makes it even more remarkable is that his journey may not be over. He could move up to 160 pounds and etch his name as a 6th Division world champion. For the latest news, highlights, events, and updates in boxing, subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our quality content. Until next time, peace out.